Okay, so here's the deal. There's some articles floating around the internet about social media damaging the mental health of young people, and I have 3 different articles for you guys. The first one is from 2017. The other 2 are actually from 2015, but I thought that they were interesting enough that I wanted to share them with you guys. So the first one comes from complex.com. Jose Martinez posted the following article on May 20th of 2017, titled, "Study Reveals Which Social Media Network is the Most Damaging to Your Mental Well-Being." So here's what he wrote. A recent study reveals that Instagram is the most damaging social media site to the mental health and well-being of young people. The Royal Society of Public Health and the Young Health Movement published a report #Status of Mind that featured them asking 1,500 individuals ranging in ages from 14 to 24 to rank the 5 most popular social media networks: Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and YouTube, based on 14 mental health issues such as bullying and body anxiety. Pause the story right there. 1,500 individuals in the age range of 14 to 24. So remember, this is just one small group of people. And this is how propaganda is created, because they could have, picked people that they knew were going to answer in the order that they answered. And plus, they only named 5 sites. Now, there's other social media networks out there. There's other outlets. There's other platforms. There's other websites. There's other programs. There's other applications that they're not mentioning. But anyways, back to the article. While YouTube was the only social network that came away with a positive rating, the other 4 left people feeling worse in terms of anxiety. You're welcome to all my subscribers, viewers, and listeners. You're welcome. I know I'll make you guys feel better. I know I'm your medicine. You're welcome. I understand. Anyways, Snapchat finished behind Instagram as the most harmful, followed by Facebook. Now, just for the record, if this was an actual fear study, like if enough people were polled or studied, whatever, I think Facebook would come out on top. Or Instagram, because of the fact that it's so image driven. But anyways, Shirley Kramer, CVE chief executive of RSPH, believes that Instagram and Snapchat's rankings on the survey points to how, quote, image focused nature of these sites affects the mental health of today's young people. Yup, she agrees with me. Quote, it's interesting to see Instagram and Snapchat ranking as the worst for mental health and well-being, but both platforms are very image focused, and it appears they may be driving feelings of inadequacy and anxiety in young people, end quote, she said in a statement. The report also shows that 1 in 6 young people will experience an anxiety disorder in their life. So how does one lessen their odds? Simply limit your time on these social networks to less than 2 hours per day. Of course, we all know that's easier said than done. When you find yourself at dinner with friends, what are you supposed to do? Talk to them? Nah, you got to see what's going on the gram. So that's the end of the article. Thank you very much to Complex and Jose Martinez for that very interesting article. But anyways, let me go ahead and read to you guys an article that was posted back in 2015 from The Guardian. Now, this one was posted by June Eric Ordure. I hope I'm pronouncing that name correctly. Anyway, the article was posted on Wednesday, September 16th of 2015. So almost 2 years ago. Now, this was posted by June, and the title of her article is Social Media is Harming the Mental Health of Teenagers. The State Has to Act. The pressure to be perfect and always, quote, on is overwhelming many of us, as studies show, but the government will not step in. Statutory PSHE lessons would be a start. What the hell is PSHE? I'm really dumb. I'm really ignorant. Somebody let me know in the comments. You people are way smarter than me. You should be doing these videos and not me. But anyways, back to the article. June writes, the digital landscape has put increased pressure on teenagers today, and we feel it. There are so many social media channels: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Tumblr, you name it. I made a conscious decision to avoid Snapchat and Instagram because of the social pressure I saw them putting on my 14-year-old little sister. If my mom turned off the Wi-Fi at 11 p.m., my sister would beg me to turn my phone into a hotspot. She always needs to load her Snapchat stories one more time, or to reply to a message that had come in 2 minutes ago, because she didn't want her friend to feel ignored. If I refused, saying she could respond in the morning, I'd get the quote, "You're ruining my social life" speech. Even as a teenager as well, I sometimes find this craze a little baffling. A new study has found that teenagers who engage in social media during the night could be damaging their sleep and increasing their risk of anxiety and depression. Teenagers spoke about the pressure they felt to make themselves available 24/7 and the resulting anxiety if they did not respond immediately to text or posts. Teens are so emotionally invested in social media that a fifth of secondary school pupils will wake up at night and log on just to make sure they don't miss out. Perhaps the worst thing about this is that teenagers need more sleep than adults do, so nighttime social media use could be detrimental to their health. Research has shown that teenagers need 9.5 hours of sleep each night, but on average only get 7.5 hours. A lack of sleep could make teenagers tired, irritable, depressed, and more likely to catch colds, flu, and gastroenteritis. That's just stomach flu. But anyways, these days I am always tired at school, and I'm not one to stay up until 2 a.m. chatting with a boy. Homework and the pressure to have the perfect set of grades mean I'm up late working. And it seems that at school, most of my mates are exhausted too. During the summer holidays, I lost my phone. And for the week that I was phoneless, it felt like a disaster. I love my phone. It gives me quick access to information and allows me to constantly loop in with my friends to know exactly what is going on in their lives. So when I didn't have my phone for a week, I felt a slight sense of FOMO. Or if you're not up to speed with the lingo, fear of missing out. Now pause the story right there. I never heard that dumb shit. Please, people, don't ever use that. That sounds fucking ridiculous. Anyways, by the end of the week, I got used to not having a phone, and I'd quite enjoyed the break from social media. But there was still a lingering sense of sadness at the back of my mind, and there would be conversations I had missed, messages that had been sent, funny videos shared, and nighttime chats that I would probably never get to see. A separate study by the National Citizen Service found that rather than talking to their parents, girls seek comfort on social media when they are worried. The survey also suggested that girls are likely to experience stress more often than boys, an average of twice a week. It's becoming more and more obvious how the pressures of social media disproportionately affect teenage girls. I can see it all around me. Pressure to be perfect, to look perfect, to act perfect, have the perfect body, have the perfect group of friends, the perfect amount of likes on Instagram. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Pause the story right there. Nobody can be perfect except for Portia. And I just want to say this, my Jesus. She's really grossly exaggerating. When are girls ever expected to be perfect? And I'm not saying, like, for example, if you have like maybe crappy parents or something like that, or in very rare circumstances, but when are girls expected to be perfect or act perfect or have the perfect body or any of this perfectly imperfect bullshit? This is such a gross exaggeration. And then people will repeat this stuff and people will actually agree with it without any evidence of it. And I'm just letting y'all know right now, this is BS. This is completely exaggerated, blown out of proportion. Anyway, back to the article. And if you don't meet these ridiculously high standards, then the self-loathing and bullying begins. First of all, self-loathing is pretending females in America are expected to be perfect. That's actually a huge part of the issues that we face in society, is that women aren't really held to many standards at all. But anyways, back to this bullshit article. What is really worrying is that time and time again, these studies pop up and demonstrate that the mental health of teenagers, especially teenage girls, is on the line. We know this. We know the perils of the internet. We've heard about online bullying and the dangers of Ask FM. We know the slut shaming that goes on in our school. So what, should you be slut praised? I mean, is it okay to be a slut? I would think that shitty behavior like teenage girls whoring themselves out should be shamed, actually. I'm actually pro so-called slut shaming because you shouldn't be a fucking slut. You're a teenager. Why should I have to pay for your mistakes if you fuck up? Why should I have to pay for your children? Why should I have to pay for your STDs? Why should I have to pay for a lot of things that I don't fucking want to pay for? Because you fucked up and then the rest of us have to suffer for it. So you're goddamn right I'm going to slut shame you. Because if I'm going to be held financially responsible or socially responsible for your bullshit, yes, I'm going to critique your behavior. And at times I'm going to condemn it. We know these things. We know that these studies demonstrate that we have to make personal, social, and mental. Okay, that's what PSHE stands for. We have to make personal, social, and health education statutory in schools. And don't anybody be dumb enough to say it in the comment section. I know what it means now. Personal, social, and health education statutory in schools, and ensure it covers a range of issues from healthy eating and sleeping to consent. And yet, Nikki Morgan and the government refuse to act. So I ask, what are we waiting for? Inaction on these issues harming the physical and emotional well-being of young people in this country? What has to happen before we do something? Thank you, Self-Loathing June from The Guardian. Thanks a fucking lot for your horrible article. It was well written, but there was some bullshit up in there towards the end. Anyways, so Digital Trends posted the following article by Mark Schechner. Now, it was updated October 19th of 2015, so it's another nearly 2-year-old, well, 1.5-year-old article, because it's May. Well, I'm recording this on May 20th of 2017. It won't be on YouTube until May 21st. I'm very busy with some of my haters' mamas doing things that I can't speak about on here, Jesus. But that's none of y'all goddamn business. But anyways, back to the Mark Schechner article. It's titled, Teens Prefer Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat in that order, says new survey. They should have shouted out Mama D. Anyways, so, okay, they like Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. Okay, so here's what Mark wrote. Today's teens are growing up not only in the digital age, but also the social media age. So what's the social media of choice? Facebook may be far and away the largest and most popular social network by sheer user numbers across the globe, but teens aren't as impressed with it as adults are. A new study reveals that teens' first choice of social media is anything but Facebook. According to the Wall Street Journal, a survey by Piper Jaffray of American teens found that Instagram was the most popular social site for 33% of teens. In second place was Twitter with 20%, and following that was Snapchat with 19%. Surprisingly, Facebook came in at fourth with just 15% of teens calling it the social network of choice. Teens may not know that they're indirectly liking Facebook, of course, which has owned Instagram since 2012. How many of y'all knew that? See, I knew that Facebook was running Instagram. But anyways, the survey has great credibility with regard to polling teens' attitudes because it has been conducted twice a year for the past 15 years. Still, it may be helpful to look at the demographic breakdown of the teens interviewed for the survey to determine the extent of its reliability. 9,400 teens from households with an average income of $68,000 were polled, 56% of which were male. Facebook's difficulties with the teen demographic have been known since at least 2013, when the company itself admitted that it had experienced a small decline in the number of teen users. All this survey does is reinforce the perception that Facebook has trouble engaging teens as much as other social sites that have unique things to offer users. For example, Instagram is image heavy, while Twitter is more of the fire hose of rapid fire, pithy commentary. Snapchat promotes brevity further still, with snaps being viewable for just a matter of seconds. Time will tell if Facebook continues to experience problems retaining the teen demographic. And where will you read that news? We wonder. Thank you very much to Digital Trends for that awesome article. Thank you, Mark. So here's the deal. Wow. This is crazy. So basically, teens aren't really messing with Facebook. I mean, look at the way that Facebook is designed. Look at the way it looks. Also, look at the fact that Facebook, it's known, you know, to basically catalogs just so much information. You know, it's very intrusive. It's like you can't really, where Facebook messed up was wanting people to be their quote unquote real selves on there. You know, don't try to be a social media site collecting people's personal information and wanting people to show themselves, their face, their name, you know, where they went to school, just every little piece of information about the person, you know, on some old like CIA shit. You know, they want to have like this database of information about people. And the thing about the internet is people come to the internet to escape. And here they are trying to keep it real, so to speak. And it's like people have to be themselves in their everyday lives. Sometimes people just want to unwind and just honestly just be entertained. And the fact that Instagram offers them Instagram offers them images and entertainment. It's like, it's just a lot of eye candy and just a lot of escapism. Whereas Facebook, it's like you go on there to be you. So you feel like you're at your job or you're at school or something like that. You're having to interact as yourself. It's a lot of personal engagement, a lot of intrusive stuff going on there. You got to worry about your aunt seeing you do different things. And it's honestly just annoying and just very pesty. There's a lot of pests. You got to worry about your family, your friends, your ex popping up. Hey, what you been up to? Hey, big head. Like, you know, on Instagram, it's just it's true social media. It's you interacting with society. It's you interacting with strangers. Whereas Facebook is your friends and your family. It's like you're going to visit your cousin that you haven't seen in a while, logging in there. It's just it's like that Thanksgiving table setting with those people that you don't like. It just reminds you of it's just constant reminders of everything that you don't like. Whereas Instagram is just new, refreshing, exciting, entertaining, and it's just different. It's an escape from the norm. You know, a lot of people have like two different ways that they act. They have like the way that they act around their friends and the way that they act around their family. Like, for example, if their parents are in the room, as opposed to the way that they would act around their boyfriend, their girlfriend, their wife, or their husband. You know, they can really, really, really be themselves, for better or for worse. And the thing about Facebook is, like, since it's so close to home, you know, people can't really let their nuts hang. Like, there's memes about it where people joke about how, oh, you know, when I'm on Facebook, I'm like this, and they'll show like this really conservative picture of themselves, and then when I'm on Instagram, you know, shit, they come in there with a thong with their nipples pierced and shit. They lighting torches with their butt. You know, on Instagram, they get to be whoever it is that they really are. You know, for some reason, I think it's because your family may be watching on Facebook. That's what I'm thinking the reason is. You know, it's just all my opinion and everything, you know, but I've seen some crazy shit. And a lot of people say that it's true. Like, hell yeah, like I'm a completely different person on Instagram as opposed to who the hell I am when I'm on Facebook. But see, what the thing is that somebody looking at it from the outside, they're like, wow, if you're the type of person who is not really out there like that, if you're not really extroverted or whatever, if you're kind of introverted and kind of stick to yourself, you might be looking at Instagram like, damn, these people are really crazy. Like, the world is really crazy because you really get a little bit of everything on Instagram. You know, you just see really weird stuff, all types of crazy videos. It's like, well, really, it's not supposed to be porn on there, unlike Twitter where you can pretty much post whatever the fuck you want. But on Instagram, you know, people will post like sexual shit sometime, you know, they're not supposed to, fight videos, which is, and that should be against the guidelines. I mean, you could beat the living shit out of somebody on Instagram for some weird reason, but they don't want to they don't want you to show a breast. But anyways, you know, it's crazy because see some crazy stuff like two people fighting in the street, then it'd be like a news story about the latest new automobile. And then somebody would be like, hey, you know, I have a garden at my house. And then somebody else would be like, hey, you know, they have a marijuana business. And then some other person will pop up playing the guitar. And somebody would pop up getting their hair cut. And the barber would mess up. Just random shit. Like, Instagram is so random. You might say, well, can't you see all that stuff on Facebook? Technically, yeah, but it's like the way that Facebook is really structured. It's really it's like a digital family reunion slash class reunion. It's really, first of all, it's an information database for the people that work behind the scenes, and and plus for businesses to advertise to you. But also, Facebook is just too personal. It's way too intrusive and personal, and everybody's just looking at you. And since you know these people, it just feels so. Oh, you're like, oh God, you clench your butt cheeks, and you just don't want anybody to look at you anymore. You're just like, oh fuck, they're looking at me again. Damn. And I know these ninjas. It's bad enough when you go out in public, you show your ass at a party or in the street or something like that, and a stranger's looking at you, but then you get to go home and you never have to see those people again. But when you do some dumb shit around people, like at school or at work or somewhere, and then everybody's bringing it up to you again and again, it's like, that's what Facebook is like. It's like, it's like you fucking know these people. They know you. They know who your exes are. They know your fucking secrets. They know where you worked, where you went to school, all types of shit. So yeah, Facebook. I would think that Facebook would be the most fucking horrible place to be at. Like for a teenager. That's why a lot of teenagers, I think, shy away from it. It's just very personal. Anyway, man, I've been rambling for over 20 minutes. I just had to say this real quick. Shout out to my baby Kim Kardashian, rocking the Snoop Dogg t-shirt on fleek, looking amazing. Kim looks amazing in every freaking thing she wears. Has anybody noticed that Kim is just so fly that she can make anything, sweatpants and a t-shirt, looking like $1 million dress? I mean, I don't understand how Kim does it. She's really like the goddess of fashion, and she's the queen of Instagram. 100 million followers plus. Man, I love Kim Kardashian. She's the queen of Instagram, and a lot of people probably look at her on there living her life, being so beautiful and glamorous, and I can see how that could be intimidating to some people and make some people feel bad, like, damn, I'm never gonna have it like Kim. Because she's just, she stays doing big things about as big as her booty, and that's pretty big. Anyway, shout out to my baby Kim Kardashian. Shout out to all the other people who are the true stars of Instagram, the Ariana Grandes and Beyoncés of the world. I hate the fact that some people let other people stunting other people's success and how good they're doing make them feel bad about themselves. Look at me, for example. The fact that I can be as open as I am with certain things such as my thirst and stuff like that, that bothers some people. Some people get really upset at my videos that they don't have to watch, that they don't have to listen to. They're like, I'm sick of you doing this, then I'm sick of you doing that. And I'm thinking to myself, like, that's interesting, retard. You don't have to be here. But they can't help themselves but to listen, because I'm just so entertaining and so charismatic and so lovable. Everybody loves me. But anyway, this is all my opinion. What do I know? I'm just a fan of social media with the microphone. Let me know what you think about it all below. Be sure to subscribe to the Meat Magazine YouTube channels. Visit meatmagazine.blogspot.com for more. Follow me on Twitter at Meat Magazine, Meat Magazine 7 on Google+, Meat Magazine blog on Instagram. Be sure to hit that notification button. It's right next to the subscribe button. It looks like a bell. Once you click that button, you'll be sent alerts to be notified when new videos get posted. And have you ever felt this way about social media? Has it ever made you feel bad? Or do you feel like me? It's too entertaining to make me feel bad. Well, unless people are leaving just really dumb comments, which I know somebody's going to leave a dumb comment on this video, because there's always some dumbass being who and what they are, which is dumb. Anyways, and nobody receives worse comments than my baby Kim Kardashian. Well, Monique Slaughter from Love and Hip Hop Hollywood received some pretty shitty comments, and Jocelyn Hernandez from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, season 6 as well. But my girl Kimmy Cakes, Kim Kardashian, receives the absolute worst comments of all time. And fuck the haters. Meat Magazine.